Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Black Girls Livin. You're joined with Jasmine.
And Vic.
And we have some special guests in the building.
Yeah. Some noise.
Make some noise.
Some noise.
Do you want to introduce yourself, lovely ladies?
Tobi can go first.
Okay. My name is Tobi Oredein, and I am the founder of Black Ballad.
I'm Jendella Benson, and I'm head of editorial at Black Ballad.
Woo! We've been admirers of you lot for time.
Oh.
Time, G.
Yes.
We think you both are amazing.
Thank you.
We think Black Ballad or Black Ballad.
I know.
I was gonna say,
Do you know
have
I've
to
been
say it,
practicing?
please.
I've
Say
been
it.
practicing
And
how
do
to say it
you
correctly.
you
You know what's hilarious about this? Some people will be coming for my pronunciation all the time.
We haven't forgotten about ignition, so don't even try it.
But what's the word then?
Ignition.
Is it actually?
Yes.
Okay, let's be moving on.
No, Jazz, you have to say it.
Black Ballad.
Black Ballad.
I love it.
It is fine.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
No
you.
worries at all.
And the feeling's mutual, by the way. Like,
Yeah,
we love
definitely.
you guys
Thank
and what
you.
you guys
Yeah.
are doing, and we love like this podcast and like it dealing with mental health and pop culture. It's just such a fun podcast. To
Yeah,
listen to.
definitely.
So like,
Aw.
but it,
Thank you.
gets into the issue. So we love you guys just as much.
You
Yeah.
guys gave us our first press.
Yeah.
I remember that day when Tobi was like, "Hey, I want to like amplify you lot," and we were like, "So early on."
Yeah.
Yeah, if we can't, I feel like if Black women can't like give each other grace and gamble on each other, then what's the point of doing what we do? So like, why not? Why not? I feel like it's what we're supposed to do, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
No, I
agree.
think that was really a moment for us because it was like, raw, like people are listening.
Yeah. Like just being seen. Because even now, like with how much we've achieved in such a short space of time, sometimes it just feels like people still aren't seeing you or they're not seeing your value. And that's what's really, really hard.
It is hard.
I think so. I think, like one thing I think as well is that like, I think when you make platforms or your work really serves like the Black community, and it's, I tweeted this the other day, like I think we need to be honest in our community about work that is for the Black community and work that's to educate white people and work that's to kind of like make things more accessible for white people. And I kind of feel, I'm saying this on the podcast, so people might come for me, I'm sorry, but I kind of feel sometimes these lists they kind of amplify work that is like by Black creatives or Black platforms that kind of seek to kind of educate white people, and those platforms are really important and those creators are really important. But I think sometimes those that create primarily for the Black community or primarily for Black women and kind of don't care about white validation, they kind of go a little bit unseen. So I think that's one of the joys about Black Ballad. We get to amplify like those creators and platforms. Like we kind of say no to people and it's kind of like, oh, we've got this, and then you look at it and you're like, it doesn't, I know it's by a Black person, but it doesn't centre Black people, Black women, so we're kind of like, it doesn't work for our audience, and we've had to say no to that. So I think that's really important, and I think that's why you guys are so special.
Oh, thank you.
No, that's true. That's a very interesting point you made about like content that's literally for white people about Blackness. Because me and Jazz, I remember we had this episode about during like Black Lives Matter. And it went like really viral. And me and Jazz, next episode, we were like, "Hello, we're not experts."
Yeah.
Just saying that.
Yeah.
Like literally, we talk about our experiences, and if people want to learn from that, cool, great. I hope you do, and I hope you share it with a mate and be like, "This is what Black women go through." But I applaud people who do educate white people.
Yeah, it's needed.
But that ain't me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's true. And sometimes we just want to be on a list. Like, yes, we're a Black podcast and we're for the Black community, but can you put us in a list for society and culture? Why do we always have to be the Black history
list?
The Black History Month
Yeah.
list?
Do you guys find it do you find like you're always on the Black Ballad? Top Black. Actually, wait, you not been on Forbes, so why am I saying? I've been on Forum. Look at these people. Or do you think like when you're amplified, it's always like Black, which is fair because we still need that too. But it's kind of like people don't see you like as your own entity.
Yeah.
Let me be honest. I feel like sometimes Black Ballad is just overlooked completely because we are so for our audience. Like, because we so care about Black women, and we're like, literally, this is for Black. If anyone else wants to read and wants to purchase a subscription, if like, you're welcome to come and observe, but this is like for us. And I think because we are so focused on that, it's very easy for us to kind of get overlooked kind of like constantly. Like, I don't even want to start like naming names and sending shots and them things there.
Send shots, man. Send storms in here.
No, because it's not even like, I don't even take it personally at this point in time, because I think ultimately, there's this quote from Toni Morrison from, I'm gonna like paraphrase it because I ain't got a memory like that. But basically it's from
high five.
It's from The Bluest Eye, and one of the narrators says that no one paid attention to us, so we paid attention to ourselves, kind of thing. And I think that's our like philosophy. Like, we pay attention to ourselves. So I guess I've gotten into the mindset where I'm not really checking for what other people are saying, because as long as the Black Ballad audience are backing what we're doing, like that's all that we're here for. Because there was times like when you'll see lists get compiled or people shout out publications and you're like, why is Black Ballad not there? And it's like, you know what? Because we're not for everyone like that. We're not for that outside validation. So for me, like, and because I know the way that my ego's set up, I just have to laser focus on what our mission is, who our audience is, and just have like when you get women who are like literally close to tears saying, I read this article and it meant so much to me, because no one, it's like, okay, that's what we're here for, kind of thing. But I know that my ego sometimes does look at it like, why aren't people rating us the way that we deserve to be rated? But I'm like, to be honest, we are so, just Black women are just so overlooked, erased, unless we're somehow holding up everyone else. Like, people aren't checking for us. So to be honest, like, I'm not really surprised. And the less eyes on me as an editor, I think the easier it is for me to do my job. Because I can just do what I'm doing and not really worry too much about this person or that person or whoever's got opinions. Like, as long as we're doing our job and serving our audience and our membership is growing and we're getting that feedback from the Black women who we're here for, then I just try to keep it like focused like that. But I can't lie, sometimes my back does get a little bit up, like, but it's like, you know what?
But how do you, so how do you not feel disheartened?
For me, so Jenny's obviously head of editorial, so now I sit more on the business side of Black Ballad. I kind of feel like, okay, cool, if I'm on this list, and then, okay, cool, whether it be white men, white women, Asian men, Asian women, whatever, are gonna follow Black Ballad, give Black Ballad a follow. They're gonna like one post, and they're gonna like two posts, and they're gonna like three posts. So you're gonna mess with our engagement, which ain't great for my, like, the business side of Black Ballad. Like, in terms of, like, when, like, Black Lives Matter happened, we had loads of people, like, sign up for memberships, like across the board, like, across, like, ethnicity, race, and gender. I forgot this topic. And it was really beautiful. It was really amazing. And, like, you know, I do think it's really important that, like, people who are not Black women buy Black Ballad to kind of educate themselves in a way that's going to be very unfiltered. And, like, you know, the things we go through as Black women that are not nice, and we don't pretend that they are. So it's great that they've bought memberships. So me and my co-founder, we were just like, you know what? Let's just do a PayPal account and let people put money in. Like, membership numbers and our retention numbers, they're mad important. Like, so I don't want anyone mucking up that side anyways. So
Signing
I'm just
up and then dropping out. And
do you know what I mean?
Up and like, no, we don't want that.
Yeah, so like, I'm just like, you know what? Like, it's cool. Like, it's fine. And I think it just goes back to what Jenny said. Like, no, genuinely, like, when we, like, the three of us, like myself, Jenny and Bola, like my co-founder, like, when we sit down and talk about Black Ballad, like, you know, no matter if we agree or disagree or like one person has an idea, it always comes down to one fundamental thing. Is this going to further or enrich the lives of Black women? And if the answer is no, then it doesn't matter. And if the answer is yes, then yes. And I think because that's a focus point for us, I think that just kind of stops us getting disheartened because we kind of know what we're here to do. And I feel like, you know, like, I'm really inspired by, like, Michael Jordan. I watched the Jordan, like, Last Dance documentary on Netflix. And, like, with Jordan, it was just so focused, like, so laser focused. Like, that's why he was the best. Like, he's so laser focused. And I really took that on board. And I was like, do you know what? Like, just do what you're doing. Like, it's fine. Like, just have that focus. That's just how I can get over it. So,
how about from within the Black community? Do you feel like you're amplified enough within the Black community? And I only say that because this was something that annoyed me, and I said, Vic, I hope you don't mind if I talk about it on the next episode. But
talk about it.
When we've been, for example, BuzzFeed, they put together this list of, podcasts you should listen to. And, we had so many amazing podcasts on there. We were on there and everything. But then we had people saying, oh, but this person's not there. Oh, this is biased. Oh, this is that. Oh,
or what kind of list is this?
Yeah, what kind of thinking? And I'm like,
yeah,
this is hella disrespectful.
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of did that this week though. With one list. I was like, there was a list. I was like, this list is not correct. But okay, I think personally within the Black community, I think when certain people are doing the list, then I think it just depends on who's doing it. Like, I think there are certain people that I think there's certain people that are in the community that really have their ear to the ground and they get it.
Yeah.
And then I think there are certain people that are 1-2 steps away from the community.
Yeah.
That like, if you ask them, like, I guess, to name a podcast that has like 2 Black hosts that isn't like mainstream, super popular, they'd have no idea.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So sometimes I just genuinely think that some people just don't know who we are because they're just so far removed that they just get Black content from like mainstream sites. So like if they're seeing it on like X magazine or like Elle or like Marie Claire, then that's all they're consuming, and they're probably not going to see Black Ballad on there. So like, I kind of feel like sometimes just people just don't know. Like, maybe it's benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's kind of just me being really nice, but sometimes I genuinely just think like some people, we expect everyone, I think we expect like our community to know what's going on in every aspect, sorry. But I just think some people just aren't in that engaged and like, that's why.
I think what annoys me though is when you hear people say stuff like, sorry, Jazz, for example, there'll be like a toxic podcast and people be like, or a platform.
I know what you're going to say.
And they're like, why is there no, I see this one person tweeting every single week, why is there no platform that amplifies voices on mental health or or why don't we have a magazine for Black people?
Yeah.
We have these things, but you lot don't engage with it. And then when these publications or podcasts they stop, you start to ask why. But what I will say is Black Ballads are doing bad boy things and they're raising money like no man's business. They have memberships. Black women are buying. Like, I don't think people are deep in it. It's not a publication where people are just tuning in, tuning out. No, people are forking out their money because they're yawning for this content. And they're not just doing it for Londoners. They're also thinking about how can we cater to the whole UK. And that's something that me and Jazz have said that we really applaud you guys for. Like, we're learning about you guys. So if you guys don't know this about Black Ballads, but they have regional editors and they cover literally a wide spec of the UK and bringing so many different types of stories. So I'd really applaud you guys and urge you guys to go and check it out. But yeah, it just annoys me when people do that annoying complaint. I'm like, sis, did you even do simple Googles?
No, I like that. I can't lie. That annoys me. Like, I think when I don't want. So the influencer, I've forgotten her full name. Was it Thea, who died when she was pregnant? And I saw everyone kind of talking about it. About well, first of all, people kind of jumped the gun and kind of assumed that it was kind of like pregnancy related, and her family had to come out and clear that or whatever. But when people were having these conversations, they were like, "Why is no one talking about this? Why is no?" And I was like, my dear, no one's talking about Black motherhood, Like, we've not just spent the whole...
You're not the first
part of the year, dude. Like, there aren't people, other kind of platforms that we've been working with and, like, to champion, like, the health of Black mothers, to, like, that really got to me because I was like, but because you don't actually care. Exactly. This is a trending topic to you, so you're jumping on the trending topic. Oh, why is this not happening? And it's like, if you knew, you would see the work that's being done. You would see the Black women who are standing up and shouting and championing and talking about petitions and this, that, and the other. So that really does kind of annoy me. But then I have to be like, you know what? They're about this because it's a trending topic now. If they were really about it, and like Tobi was saying, like, if you were down and you were in the community and you were about this topic, like, like that, you would know who's doing the work. You would know where to go to find this information. But you get all of your information from Twitter. So why am I surprised that you don't know that Black Ballad's been running content based on motherhood for like the last 9 months?
And you did a whole takeover with Huffington Post. Check it out, guys.
Yeah, that was great.
I have to credit Jenny with that. She kind of was the captain of the ship and made that all happen. So
Amazing.
kudos to her for that. I think the thing that made me laugh though once was there was a writer, and I really admire her work, and I DM'd her and said that, you know, I'd love to have you on the platform. She also has like a ethnicity background that's not really heard in the Black community. So I reached out and I was like, love to have you. And then she said like, oh yeah, I'd love to write for you. I don't have time. And then I saw her writing for another mainstream publication, and I was like, oh okay, cool. And then about 2 months later, she was like, I want to make a publication for Black people in the UK because there's nothing, and like,
because there's nothing,
and there's nothing, and she's like, there's nothing good enough out there.
Good enough.
And I was like, and like, the thing is, when I saw the tweet, I was just like,
how did you not send instructions?
Yeah.
Do you know
how did you refrain? How did you keep your fingers tight?
Because my husband always says, you know what you're doing for Black women, yeah? You can't be going to be, because out of the three of us, I'm the one that means reckless sometimes. Like, I did something.
So you're Delani. Cool.
I did something really reckless one time. We had like a deal. I don't even say what it was.
Bruh. That Tobi.
It was
Tobi is bad at the timeline. So it's like, and sometimes I'm not even on Twitter like that. And then Bola, our co-founder, will be like, oh, did you not see what Tobi said? And I'll be like, oh, Lord.
Literally, like, so like, my husband is my co-founder, and he was like, just allow it. Like, don't worry about it, innit? Like, don't worry about it.
I think we need to provide it. Basically, Tobi kind of sent for someone that we were in a commercial partnership with.
Lani, for real.
They rang us, and then
so they even pulled up and said,
even clocked it.
And then the three of us in the WhatsApp group were like, okay, we don't know what to expect. And then like, we're just like, let's just see what happens. And they didn't even call us about that.
Yeah.
And we was all like, oh, okay.
Were they white?
Yeah.
Okay. I think they'll be like, no, we can't say it.
But the girl, she tweeted that there's nothing good enough in the UK and this, that, and the other. And I was just like, do you know what? I personally felt like I actually reached out to you. And the thing is, I would have respected it if she said, you know what? I love what you guys do.
Yeah.
I think this could have been, I would have actually just been like, okay, cool. Like, Black Ballad should always be improving. And then the maddest was that she emailed us like a few months ago, so you might know who I'm talking about. And she was like, I'm putting together this article. I'd really love your input as Black Ballad. When I saw her email, I just said,
oh, okay, now you know us.
I mean, no one responded to her. I think I just said to everybody, like, you know, like, because you can't be so disrespectful for somebody's work. And especially like, as I said, there's a difference between honest critique and then literally just blatantly like, I emailed you 2 weeks ago and then you're literally saying there's nothing good enough out there for Black women and Black community. I'm going to start my own thing. Like, sis, where is your thing? Like, it's where is it? And like, if you really thought that Black Ballad wasn't that good enough for you to work on, you should have just told me. Like, I would have been like, oh, okay, but cool. Yeah. So there's been moments like that, but Sha, it is when we move.
But sometimes, do you think it's an ego thing as well? Like, some people, they want to create something for that ego stroke rather than just helping someone else along. Do you get what I mean? It's like, instead of helping or contributing to Black Ballad, she thought, I want my own thing so that people can say,
praise me.
So that I can get the
for the culture.
Yeah.
For the culture. I think that it might be that, but then also I think that there's like almost like I'm just going to broadly say there's 2 different types of Black people working on stuff about Black people. There's those who do it and they want kind of the kudos from outside the Black community. Like, look at what these people are doing. And then you have the people who are literally about the community and they're like, we're just going to do this for ourselves type thing. And I think that sometimes, and I think this may also be why sometimes people quote unquote forget Black Ballad, because they want the publication that's getting all of the accolades from white media. And it's like, so I'm going to make that thing that's going to get all of the ticks from all of these white, and it's going to get mentioned here and it's going to get mentioned there and da. Because that's what they want. It's not that they actually want something for the Black community. They want something for us that is getting the ratings and the airtime and the white validation elsewhere. And it's like, then it's not really for us, is it? It's not really for us. Like, there's that idea of like Black people or quote unquote diversity people who their whole thing is about diversity, just collecting money, making people feel better, like white organizations feel better about their diversity and inclusion. Like, they just kind of, that's their whole thing. And it's like, they need to keep that diversity dollar going kind of thing. That's their brand. And it's like, I think there are some people who are very much like that, and that's kind of what they want to do. So like stuff like Black Ballad, stuff like Black Gals Livin isn't even on their radar, because that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for that Black thing that gets the white ballot. They can be like the cool Black person who's done this and can be like the quote unquote, I don't know, spokesperson or savior of the Black community. And it's like, I think with Black Ballad, like, we're not trying to be the only thing for Black women. Do you get what I mean? We're just one, and we hope that just the community has lots of different options. Do you get what I mean? Even when it comes to like writers, like when people write for us and they go on to write for like other people, like, I'm happy. Do you get what I mean? Like, I don't want Black Ballad to be the only place where Black women are getting published, because that's not the point of Black Ballad. But it's like, people don't necessarily have that community mentality. They're just about the accolades and the spotlight and taking up that space. Like, Black Ballad, we deserve all our flowers. I'll say that straight. But it's not about that. It's about empowering, building, encouraging women, providing opportunities for writers. Like, we published so many first-time writers, and one of our first-time writers literally got a byline in Harper's Bazaar the other day, and I was like giddy. Like, I'm so happy for
Jen
her.
sent it to the group.
I'm so happy, because that's what we're here for. We're providing the opportunities for Black women that they're not getting elsewhere, so that hopefully they can grow. Because if all we wanted to do was be the only thing for Black, like, it wouldn't be sustainable and it wouldn't actually help the community.
It's true. And iron sharpens iron, right? Like, one thing I would say is, like, so Liv from Geldam, and me and her are really good friends. So she came to my house for lunch a couple of days ago. And like, I think the one thing that I've really loved about having Liv on this journey is that she really understood what it was like to kind of manage the business side and a platform and a community that expects a lot from you. And I was able to have someone that was like to speak about that with. And like, we went, like, you know, we've shared numbers, we've shared challenges. And like, I think that for me, people didn't get that Geldam had to exist for Black Ballad to exist comfortably, because there's no way, like, when you're an independent media company, you don't get financial opportunities. You're constantly trying to like make ends meet. There's a saying that my dad used to say, you rob Peter to pay Paul. You're constantly trying to move money around to make it work. And like, if we've blown our budget, I could say to someone, you might be able to get paid at Geldam. Go there, they'll care about you. Do you know what I mean? And vice versa. So for me, I kind of always feel that like, there should be more than Black Ballad that exists. Not every Black woman should love Black Ballad, because we're not a monolith, and that's really important. So like, when there's a writer that reaches out to me because they're like, oh, I'm thinking of starting my own thing, I'll reach back out to them and talk to them. And like, I think like, I'll give them like advice on like grants to go for, like what you should think about when you're like, when you're starting a platform. I'll be super honest with you and like what it's going to take for you to do it. Because I think like, one thing that I realised was that when I was like interning, because I worked in mainstream media, the editor of Elle, the editor of Company when it used to exist, the editor of Marie Claire, they all go to dinner together.
They're all boys.
They're really homies, you know? Like, they're really homies. And like, what happens is that they get, and they work out like, who's getting money from what, like where to get the money from. And that's how they all stay and exist. And I was just kind of like, what's the point? Like, if we all can work together, we all get a slice of the pie, we all like exist. So that when Liv said she was stepping down from Geldam, I was really sad, because I was kind of like, okay, like, I've got like a number in my head about something, where it would be like growth or a commercial contract. That's somebody that I could talk to, or someone I could reach out to, or just from a mental health perspective, or just like an emotional perspective, like how you coping. So I personally don't feel a way that there's competition. I think there's enough room for all of us. And I think that like this kind of like perception that like, oh, only one can exist, I really think it benefits a community that's not ours. And I think that's the problem that many of us don't really think about. So for me, like, the more people that spring up, that And also, again, going back to the business case of Black Ballad, like the more people that spring up, the more I can say to people with money, we're not a trend. Like this person exists, that person exists in that arena. Like Black women are really like putting their money where their mouth is and saying like, we're gonna buy into this like this podcast that's doing a live event. We're really buying into the publication that does a news like a membership. Sorry, we're gonna buy into this person that's writing about Black womanhood in a book. So I kind of feel like I don't know why there should be a mentality that one of us should exist. And competition is healthy when it's like executed like correctly. It's a healthy thing. So I'm all for all of us existing, like for real.
Yeah, I just want all of us to get our bag. Like,
exactly.
It's interesting what you said though about not everybody will like what you do. So like with Black Girls Living, like I'm just like, I know Jazz is like, oh, that person actually, too much tea.
I don't even know what you're gonna say. It's okay. I'm okay with it.
No. I was gonna say like, because we might see something, but like, right, that person never ever talks about us ever, ever, and knows us, and talks to us, but then sometimes in my back of my mind, I'm like, I don't like everything, like I don't like everything, but at the same time, there's also another thing of I consume a lot of content. Like I probably listen to about maybe like, I know this sounds insane, like 5 podcasts a day sometimes.
I believe that you do because on your Insta story, if you go through Victoria's Insta stories,
even I think, how does she have the time?
Content from Twitter, content from podcasts. I say, but then when I see the way you tweet, like you know a lot in it. So I'm just like, it must be from research.
I just love consuming, but I don't know who said this, maybe it was a celebrity, but they're like, I'm a fan of everyone. I think that's me, and I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with being a fan of people. And I know some people are like, oh, you're only doing it because you want to get a benefit from someone, or you're doing it because you want to work with them, or I don't care. I generally do not give a shit. Like if they don't repost it, I'm just like, I want everybody to know that I really effed with this episode or this article really like
you
blew
just
me
lift
away.
people up. That's really.
Well, I don't think I'm lifting people. I think it's just like I like this. And I see.
But some people don't say it. That's the issue. They might like something, but they don't. They don't say it.
Trying to play it cool.
But I see it as like it's not my person. It's my. You know when you put stuff in your stories, it's like an extension of you.
Yeah.
This podcast is an extension of me. This, that I'm listening to. But what you said, like some people don't say it. For example, some people, me and Jazz will bump into someone and they'll be like, oh my God, I love your podcast. And we're like, oh my God, we didn't know you listened.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can't expect to know that everybody listens because I don't tell everybody every single thing I listen to.
That's the thing. You can't take it personally because even like, sometimes I see my friends like post stuff about Black Ballad or they'll say, oh, I read the newsletter and I'm like, you subscribed to like I didn't even know that you like my friend came to me and said, I finally bought a membership. I was like, I didn't even know you read Black Ballad. Like people kind of just, and like you said, when you think about all the things that you consume, you don't always shout about it. You just think, oh, that was good.
Exactly.
I'm gonna continue. So I think you can't really take it personally. I mean, there are definitely some bad mind people out there who act sideways and do this, that, and the other, but on a general, I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt until they really, really show their hand and it's like, okay, you're actually bad mind. But yeah, because there is just so much. And I think that it's great that there's so much because if we could shout about every single Black-owned thing that we were listening to and watching and consuming and reading, then there's not enough.
Yeah,
do you get what I mean? There's not enough.
That's so true.
Yeah. I think I get surprised at how many people like know and read Black Ballad. I think like when I did the letter to say that I was taking time off for like my baby, I was shocked like when people were like I remember I got a flurry of emails. I remember you WhatsApped me I think the night and was like, this person's talking about your newsletter and I was like, rah.
Yeah, because I remember the newsletter dropped and I saw the title and like my newsfeed was like, oh my God.
People were crying
Tobi.
on
Oh my God.
Twitter. I'm crying reading Tobi's letter. I'm like, rah.
Probably the Nigerian in me. I was like, I kept it a secret. I was like, we had an Naz event and I remember I wore a baggy Prince t-shirt and I was like,
did anybody clock?
My friend did. My friend that like she's a Black Ballad member and like me and her used to go same church. She was like, you're pregnant, right? And I was like, yes. But I was like to Jenny, well, I'm pregnant. And then like, Bola was like, my husband was like, well, to me, like your face, like you like a bit chubby and like in your face, innit? But like body, like nah. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, okay. But nah, not many people really clocked. But I think it's just because I just like, a lot of people like, oh my God, your newsletter. The one that threw me though was my best friend, her husband like turned 30 like last year. And we went to the party on a Sunday night, and someone came up to me in the bar and said, "Are you writing a newsletter tonight?" I said,
I'm dead.
Tonight. I said,
wow.
I said,
They were basically telling you to leave, go home so you can write.
you told me.
By the way, I see you're enjoying that drink, but
I was literally.
We're waiting on that newsletter, bruv.
I was literally in the bar,
dead.
and like I was literally paying for the drinks, and she said, "Are you writing a newsletter tonight?" I said,
yeah, I love that though.
and I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's written." I said, "Well, I've got to write the end." I said, "But like it will be done."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh no, I read it every week, innit?" So she's like, "When I saw you here, I was just thinking, are we getting a newsletter?"
Yeah, she was like, so be going. You better be going.
Do you know what's the baddest? We actually had to leave early so I could go and write the newsletter because I was too tired to write that before. But I was like, that's mad, you know. Imagine, I'm just trying to enjoy my night out and you came to ask me.
Famous.
That was mad. So that was the baddest one. So I was like, okay, but I guess it's just part of a routine for some people, I guess.
What are some highlights that you've had with Black Ballad? I'll tell you mine actually.
Go.
As if I'm on your editorial thing. But I remember, I think I've told you this, Toby, but like I got a lot of highlights. But every Black Ballad event I go to, you can go by yourself and you'll just meet friends.
Oh.
Like I've made friends today, like a handful of people who are literally my mates. But like, and I feel like I've been to other events where it's like kind of like cliquey and it's like, or you talk to them and thinking, who the hell are you? But like here, it's just like nobody cares about any of that. It's just like really chilled. And at your old office, if you don't mind me saying, there was a slide.
Oh, there's a picture of Jenny going down there.
There's a video
And
of
when-
me, very waved.
Really?
Sliding on that slide.
I'm finished. You lot had a party there. That was so lit. And yeah, your summer parties. Oh my days, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
And I remember this one event you guys had. It was with older black ladies. I can't remember.
Oh, it was cocktails and convo, and we had a wisdom panel,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it was older black women. Yeah, I remember that.
I remember going in there and I was like, "Raw, Toby's doing this."
Do you know what was the maddest? Because Jamelia was our keynote speaker, and I remember that we had. So I really wanted a panel where older black women were speaking because I just felt that Black Ballad was kind of like not getting those voices, and I felt like it was just kind of a disservice to us as like black women that are like the millennial generation. And like people were tweeting about cocktails and conversations, like, "Oh my god, we're so excited!" And nobody kind of knew who these women were. And I remember saying to Bola, "I bet you the wisdom panel is the panel that gets people really like into it, like." And I think the thing about older black women, because they've lived a life, they will just drop them gems.
Yeah,
like,
they were.
And like, so yeah, I loved that panel. I loved the women that were on that panel. Like they all had like at least 15 years experience in their careers, and they were just dropping gems. I remember though, like someone asked them a question, and I felt like if they were a younger like black woman, they would have been so offended. And I'll say what the question is. So someone asked them like, "Do any of your partners black?" And
I think I remember this.
and I swear to God, because Roke Lowell hosted, I think I gripped the Roke and everyone like to fall into the floor.
I think I remember this.
I was like, like, and like the thing is, I think like I ask questions in it, with all due respect, but like I think maybe it's because obviously I usually hang out with women at my age. I was like, oh my God, if they ask one of my girls that, they'd be like, come to me with a microphone, be like, what's your business?
Yeah.
But they just handled it so gracefully. Like they were like, the girl asked it in like I guess a polite way, but they were just so graceful about it. And I was just like, oh my God, okay, that the evening was going so well. I literally thought, is this gonna
break it?
Is this gonna break it? But they handled it so well. But yeah, that film was good.
That's such a weird question because it's like, so now what? Is everything I've just told you
invalid?
Yeah. But I will say, yeah, I don't even want to elaborate on that. What was I gonna say
about your highlights?
Yes. You lot were the first people to pay me as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Which was really great. So I remember I was telling Jasmine the other day. I remember Toby. It was time to invoice.
The invoices, yeah.
So I was like, Victoria, where's your invoice? I said, leave me alone. Like, I don't know what the invoice is, man. Allow me. I think Bola even messaged me like, Vic, where's the invoice? I was like, these people need to leave me alone. And I think I actually said to you, Toby, I don't know what invoice is. And you said, I just need your bank details and your, just like, and then I Googled it and I was like, okay, I see. And like, I think after that, I was like, right, like you can actually get paid for events.
Oh, of course.
But I would never have. I did events before with white companies that
no budget.
Apparently.
Oh, they didn't even tell you that.
Then they didn't tell you because you would feel scared to. I remember I must have been very, very junior journalist at the time. I was even scared to even say to these companies like, "Hey, how much is the fee?" But I remember you were so up front and you were like, "This is the pay." And even when I speak to a lot of black women who are like, "Oh, I want to get into journalism. Hey, Vic, can you help me?" I'll be like, "I think you should reach out to Black Ballad." They're like, "Oh, I've already been published there." I'm like, "This is so incredible. Like, you guys have helped so many people." Not even just, but it's not even helped. It's like you're an established publication that's given such an incredible service. But yeah, what are you lot's highlights?
Oh, okay, one of mine is definitely when we published the article on Keisha the Scat by Jades, the author. I think you publish something and you're just never sure what the feedback, but like Twitter was going mad that day. And when you start seeing people criticize something, you know that you've like broken you've broken through your like little circle and you're out there in the world. So people say, I bet that's not even the real person who wrote it. Like proper trying to like tear it down. And I was like, yes. We've gone clear. I think that was just a because I think that for me it was just a real confirmation that my gut is right, because Jade actually pitched something else completely. And I was reading like her bio and she mentioned Keisha and I was like, no.
Really? Is that how you came about?
Yeah, so she pitched something else completely and then she was saying, like other things that she written, and I was like, oh no, you're gonna I was proper like, I know that this is like, because you never know whether someone's like past something or they don't want to talk about anything. So I think getting her to write that and she wrote it. That was like a highlight, because you go with it and you don't know what the reaction's gonna be. You don't know if people are gonna be like, oh, what are you talking about that for? So to see it kind of like blow up, and it literally like, not that the Black Ballad website broke, but in terms of like the scale of you know, like when you're looking at like the analytics, like it was just up there, like it blew everything else out the wall. Like even towards the end of the year, like it was still getting like,
I think it might be our most read story.
Actually. Yeah, it probably is.
I was doing a speaking event, and funny enough, again mentioning Liv was at the event and said, you found and then people came up to me, and you know what, I think it's really important that you have multiple black people in the application, because I had vaguely heard of Keisha the Scat, and I remember when Jenny mentioned it, I said to my girlfriend, and it was like, didn't really travel in our school like that, and Bola had never heard of it, and when Jenny told us, we was kind of like, I was like, yeah, I've kind of heard of it. And Bola was like, nope, never heard of it. So like, it just shows you that it's really important to have different black people, 100%. Because I may have passed on it because it didn't travel like that in our school. Like, and then, so it's really important to kind of have different black people, like, so you can have that discussion. But sorry, I interrupted you, but that was a good one.
No, it's true. Yeah, that's definitely one of my highlights. And I think there's just so much. It's like one of them things where everything moves so fast, and then it's not until you like, so we did a presentation for like NHS Digital this week. Yeah. And as we were like putting together the presentation, like talking through all our work, I was like, Rob, we've done a lot, you know, but you don't realize at the time because you're just kind of like going. So even like, like just looking at our journey, like the very first piece that we published about motherhood was when I was like 6 or 7 months pregnant. Wow. And then to now be at this place where we've done so much on all these kind of like different scales. We've spoken about ectopic pregnancies. We've spoken about sperm donors. We've done all of this kind of stuff. Like it's hard to kind of like pinpoint like one thing, but just seeing our continual growth, I think that is definitely, that's definitely just been a highlight. But so individual highlights, definitely Keisha the Scat. And other stuff, I don't know, man. Toby, you answer. Let me think if I can think of some more.
I say the first crowdfund that we did, because we had like about 1,000 people on Instagram. We had like 3,000 people on Twitter, and everybody told me don't do a membership. Everyone said it was off, and I tell this story all the time. Like I even met with my journalistic hero. And I told him like my plans, and he was like, don't do a membership. And I was like so gutted that he said, don't do a membership. And I remember I was like, oh my God, like, should we do a membership? And I remember like Bola was just like, you got to make your mind up. Like, you got to make your mind up. Are you trying to be in the business of media, or are you trying to just be a journalist? Like, you need to let me know what you're trying to do. And I was just like, ugh. And I remember, like, when we was like doing the crowdfunding, it started off really slow, and no one was like buying like a membership, and I was like, oh my god, have we done the like wrong thing? And then like I think the final night it was closing, there was just a rush, and people, and I feel like I actually remember you, Vic, as well, and Jenny just being like, you should buy a membership, like, and we reached that goal. We raised like £12,000 in the end, and I felt that like that was just confirmation, because we had a really small audience, but they were just so engaged, and I think that was when I think that was the start of when we said that for us, it's not about scale, it's about depth. Like, how deep can we go with Black women? So that was an amazing highlight. And I remember that day, oh my God. So when we did the crowdfund, Bola flew to America for Christmas with his family, and I was in England. So like, I was like in charge of the site. And Jenny will tell you, I'm not technically savvy, like, and the site broke, and no one could like pay for memberships. I kid you not. Have you ever cried and sweated at the same time? Have you ever cried so much that you like you sweat?
Oh my God.
Like, I remember the site broke down, and obviously Bola, who's the most technically savvy person on the team, was up in the air, and no one could take payments. And then people were like, I can't pay. And like, the fact that my mum came up, I was crying so hard. My mum came from downstairs to upstairs in the bedroom, and I told her what was happening. And you know, sometimes your mum says it will be okay, like you'll feel better. But you know, when you're crying so hard, they're like, I have nothing to say to you. So I remember I had to call someone, and then I remembered like who actually like made like the website for the membership. So I remember calling her like 3-4 times, and she was in church. I didn't know, and then she's like, "Don't worry, I'm driving home. It'll be fixed in an hour," and she fixed it. But that day was, and I remember I had to have an interview with the BBC about the membership as well. But I was just all over the place. Like, I was like, we're not gonna reach it. Like, the website's broke. So the crowdfund was a good highlight for me. And then I think, you know what, I'm really proud of the regional content. I think we've been speaking about, like, Jenny's originally from Birmingham, and I think when Jenny came on board, I think we've been having this conversation for a while. It's kind of been a conversation that's been lingering in the background. And I think you should always critique yourself. And I think we just knew it wasn't good enough to just be quite a London-focused like publication. So like, again, all kudos to Jenny. Like, she has like recruited all the editors. Like, she is the captain of the ship on this project. And like, when I just see the content that like they're producing, and like, I just think like these like 9 editors, like, where else would they get the chance to commission women and non-binary people where they live? Where else would they get the chance to pay these women and have their work published? And like, it's been so nice, because it's always been the 3 of us, and like we have Vanessa now, who's like the fourth like full-time part-time member, and then to have like 9 other people in your Slack, it's kind of felt like a little mini newsroom at times, and it's been so nice. So I'm just really proud of the regional content and like what they've all produced. I'm just really like amazed by it all, and just I think this is why like I started Black Ballad. It was to kind of give these opportunities to give Black women and people. So I'm really proud of the regional content. And we've got a fair bit to go, and I think people are gonna be really in love with the stories.
Well, we can't let you leave here without speaking about another exciting venture for Black Ballad, which is the podcast.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. Yeah, the podcast. So we are launching our first podcast, and it's called Black Ballad Presents a Survival Guide, and it's all about motherhood, of course. And yeah, it's like a 12-episode series. We're covering everything from like finance to like dating as a single mother to like when stuff goes wrong with like your pregnancy or with conception, to just the joys as well of being a Black mom. And we just wanted to make sure that it was, I guess the theme is like survive and thrive. So motherhood is hard. There are some bits where you're like just trying to survive it, but then also we want to thrive, and we want to like, as one of my friends says in the episode, we want to just like floss as moms. So yeah, it's been, I mean, it's all been recorded over lockdown. So it was quite a journey. It was quite a technical journey. But I'm excited. It should be good. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And you're hosting it.
Yeah, I'm
Excited?
hosting.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah, I'm excited. But, when you listen back to your voice too much and you're like, bloody hell. I mean, you
don't
lot
have
probably
to tell me
Yeah,
twice.
you're like, bloody hell, people gonna get sick of you. But not like the thing that I'm really proud of is that we have such a mix of guests. So you're gonna have Black women that you know, and you're gonna have other Black women who you've never heard of before who are quote unquote normal, like your average everyday. And I think that was so important for us because Black Ballad isn't just about, because sometimes you see kind of the same people talking about motherhood.
Just amplifying the same voice over.
The same, and it's like, but what about everyone else? So I'm really glad that we managed to get a mix of different people. I'm really glad that people have been so open and like so honest about their journeys as parents, or even one of my friends who's a foster carer as well. She spoke so honestly about her journey, and I was just like, yeah, I'm just really honoured. And it goes back to the fact that I feel honoured that Black women trust us with their stories, like with some of the hardest parts of their lives. They're like, I will tell it to Black Ballad. I will let the Black Ballad audience in on this part of my life. So
I'm excited now, like to listen.
Tobi's on it as well.
Oh Lord,
yeah. Tobi's talking the things. Them.
So when's it launching? So people can
21st of October, Wednesday the 21st of October it launches, and every week for 12 weeks you'll get a new episode. It'll be good. So
and it's just called Black Ballad.
Black Ballad presents the survival guide. So if you search for that, and anywhere you get podcasts, I mean, if you're listening to this, you know about podcasts. So anywhere you get, just type in Black Ballad presents the survival guide, and you'll find us.
I'm well excited. I'm
excited too.
Me too.
It's needed. Honestly, I know there are lots of podcasts out there about motherhood, but I don't think they center like primarily on Black motherhood.
And from the UK, like Black
from the UK.
mothers in the UK, like it's so, we have to go to like America a lot of the time to find out. And it's like, this is like for us, by us, FUBU. Yeah.
I'm going to be not a hypocrite, but I'm just going to make sure we're not doing what I said in the beginning and ignoring ones that exist. So there's ones that exist, but I can't remember names right now. But I'll talk about it next week, lads.
There's dope Black mums.
That's it.
Dope Black mums.
There's another one.
It's the Shades of Black podcast. They're guests on one of our episodes
amazing.
as well.
Yeah.
So
I think there's one like "Don't Be a Baby Mum" or something like that. But I'll get it for you next week, lads, because I don't want to.
My sister's also doing one, which is called Unsure Mums.
Oh,
she's only done a couple of episodes, and she was like, "Oh, I don't want you to talk about it until there's more."
Excuse me, what's it called? Say unsure mum.
And I think again, it's like we need all of it because everyone's gonna come with a different kind of vibe to bring to the conversation. So it's important, man. And I think that one of the things that I will say is that right now, the only reason why we're talking about the fact that, Black women's maternal outcomes is because Black women were the ones shouting about it. You know what I mean? It's because of us talking about things that matter to us that now you're seeing BBC, whoever else start to cover it. And I think that's really important to recognise that we need all of us kind of talking about all of these kind of things. And, we can push all of the American podcasts off the charts, the parenting charts.
And I think like the nice thing about Dope Black Mums is that there's also Dope Black Dads.
Yes.
So they're like a family like unit. So you kind of get both sides. So I think, and like Shades of Parenting, I'm a big fan of Samantha who hosts. I think she's one of like, I think she's written in a while, but she's like, I don't know if anyone remembers it. Superwoman Chronicles that she used to have.
Her blog.
She used to have this blog called Superwoman Chronicles. And I tell you, when I started getting into Black Ballad, I interviewed her because she made this web series called Life of Hers.
Yeah.
One of the most interesting women I've ever come across. Like she's so good. She's so talented. I think she's now a doctor.
Yeah, she is a doctor. Even, like she chronicled her whole journey on the Superwoman Chronicles. Yeah. So like she wasn't she was kind of working. I can't remember what field it was, but it was just not what she wanted. She went back to school. She became a doctor. She had like her kids and whatever. Like, and again, it's just like the power of storytelling and just sharing our stories.
And that podcast is, I think, one of my favorite parenting podcasts.
Definitely. When I was looking for schools for my oldest, I was like listening to their podcast. I was there. They had like these little resources. I was taking notes. I was like, I'm gonna make sure that I get the right nursery for my son. So yeah, we're far from the first, but we hope to contribute,
of course,
to the conversation.
Yeah, I listened to Shades of Parenting when I was pregnant, and I like listened to it, and like it was. I think I spoke about something, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh my God, is this what I'm gonna expect? Like labor and all of that stuff. But like,
so all of you lot have utes.
We do ute them.
Did you guys feel like researching beforehand made you like calmed your nerves?
No.
Okay.
Well, I did the midwifery course, so I actually saw babies being born.
Oh my
that was before I was even pregnant. So I had that, and I was really into it. And what was it called? The One Born Every Minute. As soon as I was pregnant, I stopped watching that.
Everyone kept telling me, you need to watch it. I said, if I watch that baby's not coming out my belly. I will not give birth. If I did not watch none of that kind of stuff. I remember friends kind of talking about like I did listen to friends' experiences. So if a friend had a baby, I'll talk and I'll listen to them. But all that like stuff online, like I just wasn't engaged with it. And then especially on my second pregnancy, because that's when like the stats started coming out about and I was like, you know what? I've just got to shut all this down and just focus, because some of it is really, I mean, giving birth in general is quite scary, but then when you start getting into some of the complications that can happen, like you can stress yourself out.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, so the Motherhood project, I wasn't pregnant when we started that. It was really inspired by, I think, working with you when I pitched it. So we won money to do the whole project, and when I pitched it, it really came from working with Jenny. And like I've seen Jenny in like meetings with me, and then she has like her youngest, and she's like she's talking and she's like explaining like what Black Ballad is and her part, and then she's got her like her youngest just doing all sorts, and she's just like so composed. So and I was cute. Like, we really need to like tell more than just the statistics, the stories behind motherhood. So like when we got the project and like the green light for the project and the money, I wasn't pregnant, and then I felt pregnant during the project. So I kind of disengaged from the project a little bit. There was something I refused to read. I was like, I'm not reading that. I was like, no. I was like, So I kind of, so I would kind of like, because we have a Monday meeting, so I would hear everything. But I think everyone could tell that like, it was kind of like, I registered it and then I was like, it's out of my mind. I watched one program with my husband, and I don't know why I did this. And this girl's in labour, and she threw herself off the bed onto the floor. And then, like, I remember my husband was like, "Turn it off now! Like, turn it off! Turn it off!"
Why did she throw herself? No, I don't want to.
What was he saying? Don't get no ideas. Is that what you said?
I was fully like 4 or 5 months pregnant. I went into like this YouTube phase where I was like, I think it was like a teenager and triplets or something like that. I was watching, and I remember being like, "Oh my God!" Like, so I did enough research, but yeah, I gave birth in COVID, so there was nothing. There was nothing.
How was that? Because I'm hearing lots of stories that people couldn't come in with their partners.
Yeah.
So on the podcast I talked about, I actually cried on our podcast. So
a few people did. Yeah.
So I had like a 60-hour labour.
Maybe I should just...
Jesus Lord.
You know, I was that person that like, you know, like, especially when you're a Nigerian, people give you scripture and like accidents and quick labour.
So unhelpful sometimes.
And so I was like, every morning I'll be saying the scripture and then... So
just believe and receive and you'll give birth like the Hebrew midwife.
I'm finished. And I gymmed during my pregnancy, so I was quite active.
Wow.
And then like my husband was like, you know, like
you were doing all the
How
right things.
long were you gymming till?
I gymmed up until about like 8 months.
Wow. You were doing the right thing.
I don't even gym now.
And like I ended up with a 60-hour labour, and then I had my baby's like. So basically, when I went in, my baby's heartbeat was suspicious, and then I went so long that it went into dangerous, and then I had an emergency C-section, and my husband couldn't come with me, so I did it by myself. And like my C-section as well, like they say, like I don't know how long it should take, but I think they told my husband that it should be like 90 minutes, and I was like 4 hours gone, and like
he must have been
so like
must have been terrified.
I did it by myself, and then like also he didn't come. So I went into hospital on Tuesday night. I gave birth on Thursday evening. And like, I didn't see my husband until like late Wednesday afternoon. So he took me in and we was in together for like about 3 hours.
Was he just waiting?
So I was literally just having contractions on a bed and work in a TENS machine, just waiting. And like, because contractions are not constant, they just like pain, like whatever. So yeah, like I did it by myself. And like, I think nothing can prepare you for giving birth in general. And I think with Corona, I think, you know, NHS are really stretched. Yeah, they are. But like, I was like begging and crying and people said, please, can he come in? I don't want to do it by myself. And then it was just like, at one point, my husband was just like, this isn't about you. Like, you just kind of got to go and do it right now. Like, I want to be with you, but I can't. Like, you just got to do it. So it was really hard. And when I came home, I literally was just like, don't even think about wanting to have another baby. Like, it's just not something I even want to ever think about again. Who knows what will happen? But yeah, like I had a long ass labour. I was just like, God, like I swear I prayed to you. Like, what happened? Like, what happened?
Seriously.
Like,
have you forsaken me?
Literally. The way that people talk, it's like, you know, you do all this, you do the right things, And I'll be honest, I think that played a part in my postnatal depression the first time because I felt like I'd failed. Like I'd been told you need to do this, you need to do that. Everything will be all right. I ended up having, my baby was delivered by forceps. It was kind of an emergency situation because his heartbeat dropped, my heart rate dropped. So it was like an emergency situation, but he was delivered by forceps. But I didn't do the whole pushing thing. So I didn't feel him coming out. So I felt like I'd failed. Like I was supposed to have this really smooth pregnancy in the water. That didn't happen. And it contributed to my postnatal depression. I definitely think so. And I found it hard to like bond with him because I was so in this like
in that state
of I didn't do it right, like this is my fault, like I didn't do things correctly. So I think that, you know, there are like people want to be helpful and they want to kind of reassure you, but the thing that I've realized is that first of all, no one knows what your labour's you don't know what your labour's gonna be like until you're in labour. And second of all, your labour will be different, could be different each time. So my first and my second were completely different. And partly because the second time I knew what to expect, I was able to manage myself better and kind of like manage things better. But yeah, people need to be careful of sharing them. And there's one silly book that if ever I see a pregnant woman read it, I'm like, you better put it down, ignore it.
It does though. I think like, especially like when you think about like, obviously because you guys tackle mental health on the podcast, I think people don't realise how heavily they contribute to like the mental health challenges of motherhood. Like for me, we did an interview the other day and I realised I found breastfeeding so hard. Like especially because my baby was, when I had the cesarean, she didn't breathe. So like she didn't breathe for like the first, I don't know, it felt like an hour, like she didn't breathe. Because I remember like people being like, baby's not breathing. I was like literally flat my back and I was literally like, oh my God. And like, because that cry that they do releases the air from their lungs and she just couldn't get her cry out. So I was super like, oh my God, like what is happening? And then she kind of had a little cry. They showed like, I was on the bed and like, the midwife said, this is your baby. And then she was whisked off. And then I was like, oh my God. And then I was just left laying there. And then, you know, so when she went to like neonatal, she was fed with a bottle or a drip. So when she came down to me, like 24 hours later, trying to breastfeed with her was kind of hard because she was kind of like, she was looking at me like, what is this? What is this? Do you know what I mean? So like, I was like trying to breastfeed and like again, I didn't have any visitors. So like my mum was like calling me on FaceTime. My husband was calling me on FaceTime. My mother-in-law was calling me, but no one could actually help me because they weren't there in person. And I remember I asked the nurse, like, do you think she's feeding? And Joe and they just looked, the nurse just looked at me and was like, maybe, like, just figure it out. And she was like, you should, and basically was like, you kind of should know. And I was just like, oh my God, like, am I not a real mum? Like, it's like instinct not kicked in. Yeah. And then when I took her home, like, for the first week, like, she wouldn't breastfeed. And like, everyone calls you and be like, breast is best. You should breastfeed. And it like,
why don't you breastfeed her then? Bloody hell!
Do you know what I mean? And like, it was literally, I remember at one point, like it was just getting to me so much that I just couldn't breastfeed my baby. And it was just emotionally like getting on my mind. And I think one thing I'm really grateful for is that like me and my husband have really honest conversations about mental health and postnatal depression. And he was like, that's the one thing I don't want for you. So he was very proactive in terms of like, so anytime I kind of felt down, he's like, let's get out of the house, let's walk, let's go somewhere. And he would be like, I'll take her, I'll feed her, like, don't worry about it. And then it kind of, you know, I think once I had like I joined like an NCT group. So it's kind of like a private antenatal group. And one of the women in there, she was also struggling and she had like a helpline. I remember phoning the helpline. I didn't want to phone at first because I felt like, oh my God, like, is it a bit of a failure? Like, I even remember, my mum from Nigeria rang and she was like, Tobi, you must just put the breast in her mouth. And I was just like...
She said, insert it.
That's how it works.
That's all you need to do. And I was, in my mind, I was like,
what do you think I've been doing, Mum?
Exactly.
What? And I was just like, oh my God. And then like everyone was like, yeah, breastfeeding. And I was just, it was such a mental... you spell all the time in the podcast. I was about to say,
go on.
Release it.
Go on.
It was literally like a mental fuckery. Like I literally could not get my head and body like to breastfeed my like baby. And then I remember one night we literally just watched Coming to America. I had cake. I kind of just like forgot about it, and then she cried, and I was so relaxed, and it just happened. And I realized that I just kind of need to shut everyone out. But I'm lucky, like I didn't have any, like, I was quite good at listening to my emotions, but I think the breastfeeding not coming so naturally, like you watch it on TV and they just go, whoop, and the baby's just there gulping away. But I think because it didn't happen for the first 7 to 10 days, I think if it didn't happen eventually, I think I would have really spiraled into something that was like really mentally distressing. Because even like you're supposed to have health visitors, aren't you, when you're a baby? And we didn't have any, but we did have like a midwife. And I remember like when she came and we was talking about breastfeeding, she basically was like, she basically said maybe she just doesn't like your milk. And I really just wanted to just be...
What?
Basically, she's like, she said maybe she's just lactose intolerant. Maybe she just doesn't like your milk. And I was just like...
As if you're a cow.
I was literally like... So I was like, the milk I'm producing for my baby, like, so she doesn't like... It
doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It's just so... It was just so unhelpful. So I definitely think breastfeeding was like the thing that was like, if I was gonna spiral into anything, that was the thing that was gonna send me. Yeah, it was. It was just so hard. So like when anyone gets pregnant now, I always just say, listen, take your time breastfeeding and formula is there. Like as long as your baby's getting fed, it's fine. As long as your baby's growing, it's fine. So I think like definitely for me, like breastfeeding was the hardest mental aspect of being a mum.
I feel like when now I see other people's journeys and stuff, and now when someone's pregnant or you know they're going through, I have to mind my business. And I really think other people should follow suit. Like, don't give out unsolicited advice. Literally. Don't give out stuff that your mum has told you. Like, let's just mind our businesses because you don't know how people are going through it. I wanted to touch on one thing. I remember seeing a tweet by this guy and he was like, my babe gave birth, no gas and air. I love her. She's so strong.
No,
you're a wicked man.
Wicked man. Listen, pain relief is there for a reason. Take the pain relief if you need it. Like my first pregnancy, my first labor experience, I tried to soldier it. My labor was long.
You said soldier as if this is a war.
I literally tried to soldier it like it was a war. And then they said, listen, you haven't eaten in nearly 24 hours. You haven't slept in nearly 24 hours. You're not going to be able to give birth. Like you need to sleep. So you need to take pethidine, which is like morphine. And I was like, no, not the morphine. But I was in that mentality, no, not the morphine. You know, that's like the worst one that I could take. They were like, listen, you need to sleep to give. So they gave me the morphine. I conked out. I slept for 30 minutes, but it felt to me like 6 hours. I woke up and I was like, all right, let's go. Like whatever you need to do to give birth to a healthy baby, to be healthy in yourself, you need to do it. And I think I was pregnant around the same time as my cousin was in Nigeria, and I had like kind of these the complications that I had towards the end of it. My cousin in Nigeria did it, and my mom just said to me, she was like, she was so glad that I was in England to have those complications, because you could have a complication in another place when maybe what you needed wasn't on hand, and that could have. My son was born with the cord wrapped around his neck. He didn't cry immediately. Like first of all, he wasn't even facing in the right direction to even come out. So it's like in a completely different situation where they didn't have maybe the equipment that they would need. They didn't have enough doctors to kind of take care of me, even though I still had qualms about my care, but at least there were doctors there. Do you know what I mean? Like in another situation, that could have been my baby gone. That could have been me put at serious risk. So like, I think definitely you have to, you don't have to do everything that the doctors say. Like at the end, like you are, you know your body, you know your pain, you know yourself. So definitely listen to yourself. But all these things are there for you to take advantage of. So when people are like, oh, my babes gave birth with no gas, I mean,
pagan.
What else? Like, and what did you do to help?
Exactly.
Like you're saying this like you were there pushing the baby out with like, listen, gas and air. That is the best. I would just say that. I had gas in there.
Amazing.
It's amazing. It's like, listen, I was chatting the most amount. I was telling everyone I loved them. I was chatting the most amount of crap. Like, just take it all, man. Whatever you need, take it all. And sorry, I'll just say this. Second time round, I gave birth with, because my labour happened so fast, I didn't even get a chance to have like gas in there and all that kind of thing. It was bloody painful, but my baby was delivered healthy. But guess what? I still had to go and get stitched up. So I still had to get the epidural. So people say like this thing like, oh, it's like a badge of honor. I still had to go and get an epidural and lie in surgery and get stitched up. So it's like, what does it matter that I didn't have pain relief when I gave birth? Because I still needed pain relief to get stitched up. What does that mean?
I actually think that men want women to be in pain all the time, especially black women. You want us to be in pain, innit? Because when I saw that tweet, I thought, God, rebuke it. Like a God rebuke it. As I said, I had a long labour. So I was dead set against epidural. Like I don't want it. Like you write out like a labour plan, and like I had like in big bold black instructions, no epidural. And like you, like I was 24 hours in, like they was like, you're too tired, like you need epidural. I swear to God, it was the best thing ever. I'm like the pain. Did you have it?
No. What happened? Yeah, I was thinking, I'm gonna firm it. This
Yeah,
was me. No, I said I'm not having pethidine. I'm not having epidural. When I got in that hospital, I said, give me the fastest thing you can give me. Just put it in my body.
It's
So I had the pethidine, and I was like,
when that hits, and you're like, rah, like it's literally like I can think. The pain that racks your body is so mad you can't even think. People are talking to you and you're like, shut up. Like, you know when people talk about slapping their husband?
Wow.
Like, no, because
you want to slap them.
No,
Vic is that bad.
People are chatting. People
bad.
are chatting rubbish in your ear, and you're in pain. The most amount of pain, it literally feels like your body is being ripped in two, and then someone's telling some rubbish about no, don't push yet. Do I have a choice? Like my body is pushed. Like people are chatting rubbish in your ear, like, and you can't even think. As soon as that pain relief hits, and you're like, oh wow,
Epidurals are. But I'll say this. I hope this doesn't sound irresponsible. I did love gas and air. I'm not gonna lie. I was like,
it be what it is.
No, do you know what I said? It was so funny. I got into a political argument with my doctor. So basically,
during labour.
So basically, I pulled the mask down. I was like, oh my God, you have to wear the mask during your labour. Well, no, it's a gas and air mask.
Okay.
So I was like, everyone in this room is black and brown, but on the news, the doctors are white. I swear! Apparently, that's what I said. Apparently, I said.
Talking diversity and inclusion.
Oh my gosh.
And then I was like, Boris is a liar. He never had corona. And my doctor was like, I don't like Boris, but he looked very ill. And I was like, liar. I was on one.
You thought it provided them entertainment for the night.
No, my doctor literally was like, "You're very entertaining," and I was just like, I was proper on one. Like I was going in, and like I think my husband was like, "Thank God you had a diverse set of nurses and doctors."
Yeah.
They would have been triggered.
The things you were saying, it was wild. So I was just like going off on one. So I love gas and air. I'll be honest. And then I was like to my husband, "Do you love me? Do you love me? Like, do you still love me? I can't do it."
Like, what?
Oh my God.
And then the worst one was
Don't
like
do drugs, kids.
when I was like, "Why are you sleeping for? Why are you
I'm
sleeping?"
finished.
And then like the midwife was like, "Let him sleep." I was like, "No." She's like, "He needs to sleep." I was like, no. And I kept waking him up. I was like, "Do you love me? Like, why are you sleeping?" And yeah, apparently gas and air. My husband recorded a video of me on gas and air, and I recorded one video. He was like, "I'm sorry, I know I said I would." He said, "But it was just too much. I had to just."
Yeah,
Because
I was going to ask you if you guys had anything
Yeah.
recorded. Did you just?
Yeah, I did, but it's gone.
What you deleted
Because of
it?
Apple.
Oh, that's a shame.
Sis.
I just
That's
wanted to
Emma.
believe that I said it, so I actually saw it because I was like, I didn't say that. But when I saw it back, I was like,
Was you shocked?
like, yeah.
Mm.
But no, I don't think I'd let him video the labour and like all of that. Like,
I remember,
Nah.
I think it was Patricia Bright. She did it for her first one.
Yeah.
And I remember because she was like, when she first got pregnant, she was like, "Yeah, guys, like kind of like, you know, that kind of what Jazz's mindset, like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, that. And obviously we know pregnancy is not linear.
Yeah.
My girl got pregnant, gave birth on the corridor.
Yeah, the corridor.
yeah, she did. Do you know what though? Patricia Bright, I was pregnant when she did that video because she has this condition where she gives birth really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, I said, "God, please let me have that condition." Because
I know.
What's the condition? Why
She couldn't even leave the house.
Yeah.
And the baby was there.
Yeah, she has
Yeah.
a thing where like she genuinely
Yeah.
like her labours are so quick, like it's an actual thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That like so. But the only thing is she didn't have no. I rate her though.
Yes,
Like,
I know.
rate
What,
her
no
for-
gas and air?
Nothing. She was at home, remember? They were
But the
trying
ambulance can
to. They were
bring
trying
it.
to. They were trying to get to the ambulance.
It's too
Yeah.
quick.
You need to stay there, please. Can you bring the pain
Nah.
relief? What?
Yeah.
Yeah. I rate her. I rate now.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I really
Yeah, I
rate
did.
her.
Listen, anyone
I
who gives
rate
birth outside of a hospital, like all kudos to you, boy, because that was like my second time around. I stayed at home as long as possible because I wanted to be relaxed. It got to the stage where my friend thought I was gonna give birth in the car park underneath the flat.
No.
And it was that moment where it was
No.
like I stayed at home way too late, boy. Like we were in the car and I was like crunched over, having
You
contractions.
forget I fucked up.
I was literally like, why am I was like, nah. Luckily made it to the hospital in
thank
time.
God.
And baby, like it was that late that it was literally like I was hobbling down the corridor. The midwife's like, listen, if you don't start walking, you're going to give birth in this corridor. See me now. Like trying to run to the thing.
I got a question. Do you guys ever look at your youths and be like, when they're messing about and think, I think yours are toddlers, right? Or a bit older?
Yeah, I've got a 5-year-old and a 1 and almost 2.
Oh, cute,
nothing.
And Jazz, you know.
7.
Boy.
Do you ever? I don't think yours is old enough to be naughty yet.
It depends if she slept. So
Oh,
I've been up
okay.
since 4.
Well, there
sorry.
we go.
Okay, sorry. This is a naughty one then.
Yeah,
Okay. Do you ever look at them and think, do you know I actually I birthed you
Oh, nah.
and you're moving mad like this? Do you know who I am?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that sometimes. Like, especially like, so the toddler is proper like toddlering, like he's in that stage. Even this morning, like throwing himself back. I think the thing that
He
killed
was
me,
doing what?
he was like when he's on, like he's throwing himself backwards, like arching his back, but like potentially he's about to hit his head. Like when they're about to injure themselves,
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, I did not birth you for you to go and hurt
Yeah,
yourself having a
exactly.
tantrum because you're not allowed crackers or something stupid
Yeah.
like that. Like now, sometimes I literally look at and I'm just like. I'm like, nah, you don't rate me at all. You don't rate me. you don't rate what I've been through. But yeah, and then other times you look at them and you're like, oh my gosh, you're the most beautiful thing that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And other times you're literally just like, don't touch me, don't talk to me, stay over there, watch TV, just give me a moment.
I feel like when I have a kid, I said this to my boyfriend the other day, I'm going to take like 1 billion pictures of them. Do you guys do this? Like every single day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The phone's just like literally like it's just a Stan account.
Yeah, apart from my both of them actually, they don't like pictures now. Like I think I've overdone it to the point where they see a camera and they're like, no picture,
Do they take selfies?
no face, no care. Yeah, my toddler does that thing where if you've ever seen a parent's camera roll where you can see where their child has taken there's like a nostril, there's a forehead, just like bare selfies.
Oh, so cute.
So I've got loads of those pictures. But if I bring my camera out, sometimes I'll just be like, nah. Literally, don't take a picture of me. Don't, unless my oldest likes a video. He likes to do a little video for Instagram, a little motivational message.
He has been doing. I've seen. Yeah, he has been.
He's been asking about a YouTube account.
Motivational message. Let's be signing him up, please. There's money to be made. There's money to be made.
Everyone has to earn their keep.
No, literally, he's like, Mommy, why don't I have a YouTube channel? And I'm like, oh gosh.
They fully know it. Like, remember Kaya was saying, and subscribe to YouTube. I said, how'd you know that?
Yeah, she's like and subscribe. They're ready for it.
They are ready, seriously.
Oh god, that's all to come for me.
Yeah. That's all to come.
Just pending.
Yeah, but
that's what they grow up on, isn't it? YouTube.
Yeah, but mine, her dad's not gonna let her have anything. Like,
Really?
Well, we don't put like any pictures of her out, like in terms of like I don't know, like we've had this discussion before. Like when I was pregnant, we kind of just made the choice not to show any photos of her because I think one of the things that I love the internet because you can kind of get advice about being a mum without judgment because people answer questions and stuff like that, and like people are mummy bloggers and they're amazing and they kind of give you like their like side of it. But the other thing is I kind of don't. Sometimes your child hasn't asked to be on the internet, right? And I kind of thought that like, what if she grows up and she just doesn't? What if my child doesn't care about race and race conversation and she's really embarrassed by what I do? And like,
that's impossible.
But I just kind of thought like, what if she's just not interested? Yeah. And then like the other thing is, what if she's super shy? Like, you know. And she doesn't want to like have her picture out there. And I think the other thing is, I'm not a fan when parents put their kids having tantrums on the internet because I think.
What do you mean?
So like,
wait, hold on.
Yeah.
No.
I've seen like people proper talk about their kids' lives in a way that I think is quite intrusive. Like I saw someone post about their child being bullied at school, and I was like, nah, that to me was too that to me. Yeah. So they're talking about in like, oh, you know, here's this like family drama that we're dealing with at the moment. If I was that child, me and you were gonna fight because why are you telling all these people that I'm being bullied at school? Like,
especially for like around like 7-5ish. The other kids will see it, they're like, oh, so your mom's chatting about you. I'm gonna even finish you even more. God forbid. God forbid. Yeah. No, I meant when I said I thought like you guys are not gonna allow her to like watch YouTube, but I didn't know you meant like not have a face.
No. I think like you can get parental locks on YouTube, so we're allowed to watch.
But
YouTube.
you still have to watch the things properly. You know?
It's true.
Oh yeah, I saw from your your eldest was watching. You said that like there's like hidden like really random messages that come out
and there was one video he was watching the other day. So he loves like cars and Disney cars. So there's this thing and it's meant to be like, and there's like a it's like counting with the cars, and all of a sudden Spider-Man comes out of nowhere, starts defecating on the floor, and jumps up and slams his head down on the floor, so there's all blood coming out of his hair. And I was just like, what? So if I hadn't been paying attention, I would never have known. I would have never, like, you have to be so careful. Scary. Like, literally, when he's watching YouTube, I have to just sit, even if I'm doing something else, I have to sit there and pay attention because you just never, like, literally the world's, and that's the good thing and the bad thing about YouTube and the internet and stuff. Like, that's what I'm a bit kind of scared about. And even, I've got a stepdaughter who's 11 and even like, she's all on the TikTok and all of this kind of, and it's like you don't want to be.
You don't know who's watching your account.
You don't know who's watching your account. You don't know who's. So at one point, I got TikTok to keep up with what she was doing, and she started following all her friends from my account, and I was like, no, because even though I know that I'm not gonna do anything, but they shouldn't be used to fully grown adults following them on TikTok. Do you get what I mean? Like it's a scary world, man. And that's partly why even when my oldest son is like, oh, you know, why have I not got a YouTube? And I'm like, because I don't know how we're going to manage that yet. Like, until we have a plan, how we're going to manage trolls, how we're going to keep you safe. I'm not gonna put you on YouTube.
Yeah, and I think also like having for me anyways, I think the world is harsh on black girls and black black women anyways, and I just feel like I don't want to introduce her to that harshness when she's so small, because people just make judgments even on babies, and like it's the things that I've seen. I'm just like I'm not here for that, because I will slap you in real life. Like I'm not mucking about when it comes to my baby. Like I'm not. So like I just felt like, going back to what we said, like I think I don't like the fact when people say, oh, like I've had this really hard day at work because my 6-year-old was having a tantrum and my 2-year-old, she was having a tantrum. I just personally don't feel quite comfortable with it, because I kind of feel that if I was having a bad day, I wouldn't expect my friend or my husband to be like, oh my God, I'm having a really hard day because my wife or my friend is having like a moment and like they're finding what. I wouldn't expect you to do that. And I think that why don't you give that same respect to a child? And I think sometimes we can kind of get caught up in terms of, I guess, likes and entertainment. And I think like that's one thing that we're all human, we can all fall to it, and I felt that I just didn't want to get caught up in, oh my God, she looks so cute, and then posting her all the time.
People ask you, hey, can I see, like, people who follow you, can I see a picture when you posting her?
Yeah, people have said like, oh, when you posting her. The thing that made me really like stop and think was when people said, did I miss the announcement? I didn't know you was pregnant. And I said, I never announced it. I never said anything. And I think that was when I was like, like we really must live our lives so openly. Because when I did the newsletter, I had quite a few DMs, emails where people just said, oh my God, I missed the announcement. Sorry, I would have congratulated you. And I was like, you don't need to be sorry that you didn't congratulate me then. And like, when I was pregnant, I didn't post anything.
Like, I think it's sorry to cut you. I think it's a familiar thing. So like, I think people are so familiar with so-and-so's pregnant. They announce it at 6 months. Then, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like we're used to seeing how content can... Because like, I think people even think, oh, Tobi is I see a bit of her life online. So she's an influencer. No, Tobi's a founder. Do you know what I mean? But what I was going to say about you saying posting your child, I remember one time people saying stuff about... some influencer's baby, and they're like, oh, she's not even that cute.
No. Listen, that day, the police will be called to my house. Seriously.
I was like, no, you know what, evil.
Nah.
Not a baby.
But this is the thing, like, people think it's a free-for-all. People think whatever you put out there is a free-for-all. I remember when, with my oldest son, when there was a time when I did kind of just post him a bit more on like Instagram and stuff, and I managed to bag a whole bunch of freebies from like one of these kiddie like they do like the kiddie snacks. I'm not gonna say them because they didn't pay me, but I got all these freebies from them, and I was like, I can see how you can get into your influencer bag with your children. And even there was a point when I did put him on like my main feed, like my likes would double.
That would piss me off. I'm so
my
sorry.
My likes would double.
Piss off the little... No, that actually pisses me off when I go through people's Instagrams and the baby gets more.
No,
because you're trying to tell me I'm clapped. Yeah. And you're telling me the mini me is a better me.
Basically.
No, I don't like it.
So I can see how you can get kind of caught up with that, because literally as soon as I post him, listen, it could be a blurry, out of focus something. But me looking in my finest, and I'll be getting half of that.
Yeah.
So I can see how, but then when I saw someone else, so Candice Braithwaite, she posted about her son's circumcision, and I read the comments, and all of these white ones coming for her about circumcision, like talking about how she's abusing him, how how all this kind of stuff. And I said that day I'm gonna stop, because listen, you cannot tell me anything about my child. You cannot tell me anything about him and not expect me to track you down and be waiting outside. Like I would honestly,
and I think that's it. Like I think everyone is entitled to bring up their child how they want. And I think that's the thing that I don't like about social media. And I think letting that part of your life out is that I think whether it's undeserved, but people do feel an entitlement to judge, because it's not like you're inviting them in, but you kind of dialogue. You kind of have to be honest about it. So I personally would rather just not say anything. I've posted her feet. I posted the back of her head.
I like baby feet.
Yeah. Listen, when you said about getting more likes, that's why I was
from the feet. Stop right there, Tobi.
No, I'm joking. I'm not joking. She got more likes with just her feet. And I showed her a good picture. It's not a good picture of her feet. I can't lie. It's like we spent time trying to get this picture of her feet. It's not that good. feet. Like, I'm not gonna lie to anyone. It's not, like, it's just her feet, and like people love it, and like I'm just like, oh, okay. But yeah, I think Chimamanda had an amazing quote, and she said when she had a baby and like, no one knew she was pregnant.
No one knew.
And also like the three of us are Nigerian. Like it is our culture. You don't announce your pregnancy. You announce the baby. You don't announce your pregnancy. So it's a cultural thing as well. And
shout to Pick Meal.
She's so private, that one. Like,
but is she private or are we? Like
expecting too much? I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Like, but I do love the fact that she kind of keeps. You don't really see her kids, but So, what was I gonna say?
Sorry, you're saying about Chimamanda.
Chimamanda, yes, sorry. She said that people expect women to perform pregnancy and motherhood, and I totally understood what she meant. Like, I think if you're pregnant, like people expect you to look a certain way. People expect you to act a certain way. I remember I got in a lift at church, and someone said, "How far along with you?" And like, I kind of blew up quite quickly. And she was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like,
"Listen,
like, I was like,
you're literally public property when you get pregnant."
Yeah, well,
and
I just felt that like as well, like I think when you're pregnant, you can be really body conscious. And I remember a friend of ours said something about like how big I was. I like my husband had to pan him, like it was like he had to, my husband had to really be like call him and be like, bro, like don't, like you can't do that. Like he literally, it was funny because like, and the thing is, I love him to bits, and like he didn't even think it was a bad thing, and I don't even, he's not even a bad person, but I think society really tells people that pregnant women are up for discussion, pregnant women are up for debate, and I think that was something that in my pregnancy I really struggled with, because people would comment on this. Someone even asked me, am I having twins? And I'm like,
that's the people calling me EI Beji for like the
if you guys don't know,
longest
that's your before mother of twins. Basically what they call Beyonce.
So they were and they're like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, I'm absolutely sure. I saw the sonogram myself. I'm only are you sure? And I'm like, but how big do you expect a woman to, like, you do realize that I'm growing a whole other human. There's a whole other human. There's my organs. There's the amniotic.
There's a placenta.
There's a placenta. And it's weird because I feel like pregnancy is such public property, but people still don't know nothing about the realities of it. It's like, even the thing that I absolutely detest with all of my soul, like snapback culture, expectations. Like,
I've struggled with that though, being real. I've really struggled with that.
And it's just like, you have to like kind of just get out, like you just have to fight for your own sanity and for your own kind of peace in the fact that like you are who you are, your body looks the way that it looks, and it's like there's this weird kind of the thing that I'm struggling with honestly at the moment is this weird kind of thing where it's like every woman's entitled to do whatever she wants with her body. So, like, oh, body positivity, oh, yay. But then if a woman has surgery, oh my gosh, it's amazing and she should be allowed to have surgery. And I'm not saying that no one shouldn't be allowed to have surgery, but there's this thing where people talk about body positivity, but we are still kind of heralding and holding up women and idolizing women who have surgery, to the point where I saw a thread the other day on Twitter, and it was like basically looking at everyone's banging surgery. So like before and after, like bare heart eye emoji. Oh my gosh, their surgeon was a magician. Da 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 da. And then there was one girl in the thread. I don't even really know. I think she's like an influencer in America, so I don't really know her. But they said, oh, why did she do that to herself? She was perfect before. And I was like, why do you think when you've done a whole freaking 34 tweet thread praising all these people about how banging their surgeon is, why would you not think that an influencer then feels the need to do something that she doesn't even need to do? Do you get what I mean?
Especially because they make their money based on appearance.
Exactly. What do you expect? Even down to the fact that like you have all these kind of like criticisms about like what influencers do with their body and whether they've changed in this way and it's like, but when you're supporting and heralding one thing, why do you not expect that people are going to go and do that? And I really struggle with that, because I see like people talking about, oh, look at this person, they had the baby, and look, there's this thing 6 months in, 6 months out, so they show you, or 9 months in, 9 months out, so they show a picture of you at 9 months pregnant, and then 9 months afterwards, and they're all snatched and this and that, and I'm like, literally, I have to just say to myself, close the app, go sit down and go chill, because it would literally just mess with your mind so much.
I think I've really look at me being so honest on this podcast. You people,
yeah, you're lucky, you know. Tobi don't chat to no one, you know.
No, like so. I genuinely like exercising because I think it's, you know, like if in all honesty, it's something I do by myself. Like I work with my husband, I live with my husband, so we're pretty intertwined. But like exercising was something that like it was mine. It was good for my mental health, and then like I think. Also, I exercised with one of my best friends, so it was a way for me and her just to see each other. So I liked that aspect. But I've really struggled with like the body changes in terms of like I'm running at the moment. And I had to take 2 weeks off because one, like I had a little bit of an injury, but I think I had to really assess why I'm running. Like in terms of like every day I'll be talking to my husband like, oh my God, like when is my belly gonna be flat again? Like when am I gonna lose the weight and this, that, and he was just like to me the other day, like you're actually like you need to like relax with it. Like you can't be this obsessed about it. Like you're not enjoying life. And I've really, really struggled with like the fact that I don't fit into like all my clothes again. And like I'm like, but I've had a baby 6 months ago, and like my husband was like, you need to give yourself a break. Like you had a C-section, so when you have a C-section, like you can't really walk properly, and like you have like 3 months of like like because you literally like they're cutting your inside, so like for a long time you can't even lay flat. Like you have to lay with like 4 pillows up to sleep, like because you can't lay flat and stuff. And I think the snapback culture I don't think it's even allowing me to enjoy where I am at the moment, because I'm just kind of like, oh my God, like why won't the weight shift and this, that and the other. Like I've banned certain foods in the house. Like, and I think I have to be super honest with myself. And I think like not running for 2 weeks, I've like made like a mental list of why do I run. And like, it's good because running gives me like a time away from the house just to not, and also not to think about Black Ballad, because you can think about it all the time. And I'm doing it for myself. But the other part is because I'm trying to lose weight. And like my husband's cousin was like, oh, like, are you enjoying running? And I was like, no, I'm running to lose weight. Like I'm not enjoying running. And I was like, do you know what? Tobi, actually just enjoy running. Enjoy the freedom that running gives you. But snapback culture is so hard. And especially when I think people are also not honest about snapback culture. Like some people, you see them and I'm like,
you got
this is amazing.
Yes, you do.
And I don't even mind. I don't think you should
be
mind
honest
about
about your surgery and show the doctor
like,
maybe.
Like, do you know what I mean? Because I think do what you need to do to make your life the life you want. And if you've got money to have surgery, go and have it.
But
like, why not?
Sorry to cut you, Tobi, but I honestly feel we're in a space where I can't even stand this snapback. I hate it. I can't stand it. I'm not, and maybe I sound like an evil person, but I won't even approach, be like, yes, so snapping back. No. Chill. Please chill and watch Netflix. Like chill. Every celebrity, like Krypton Conan's girlfriend, she posted with her belly snapped back. The Shade Room posted it. Everybody's like, oh my god. It's just like, but she had a baby yesterday.
But we're obsessed. I feel like with her though, I felt bad that so many people also came at her at the same time, because I think people came for her and I was like, you know what, like she's a young woman, like she's also entitled to do what she wants with her Instagram. And at the same time, I think society is so obsessed with celebrating the women.
The society's pressure led to it.
I'm not criticising her. I also think that she might even be in that bubble of she's seen all the snapbacks. So now she's probably thinking, she feels pressured like, oh my God, I too must snap back. I hate seeing celebrities do it, because I'm just like, please have some responsibilities. Like, what's that woman's name? Tatiana Taylor? Auntie, chill.
Yeah.
Tiana Taylor.
Is that her name?
Wait.
Tiana.
When I got the packs.
Tatiana. It's weekly at this point. It's weekly, but it's fun.
I love Tiana, but I'm not gonna lie. I saw her
chill.
body. I'm not gonna lie. I said to my husband, look at 2 weeks. And he was like, she has every dietitian, every trainer. Please don't compare.
Does that look normal? It does. It's not normal.
Yeah, I think like the thing that like Beyonce, I love her, but when she did the homecoming concert and I saw her, I was like, I was like, rah, like let me just lock the cupboards now. But then she came out and she spoke in her documentary, she spoke about,
I'm hungry.
Yeah, I've only eaten an apple. Why? Why are you hungry then?
Like
there.
But she spoke about it, and I appreciated the realness in that moment. But even then, like I can't imagine being Beyonce, being
The
lauded
pressure.
for my beauty and my body,
The pressure.
getting pregnant, and she had twins as well. Like I can't even imagine being pregnant with twins, and she got big because you get big with twins, and then having everyone's eyes on you and then being expected to kind of snap. Like if you think about it, Beyonce's been in the public eye since she was a teenager. We know what size dress she wore when she was 17. Do you get what I mean? I can't imagine that pressure. But that moment in the documentary where she's like, I'm hungry, and I'm like, yes, and I don't want to be hungry. I enjoy my food, so I'm gonna sit here.
I swear she even said no bread, no alcohol,
When she said the list, I was like, and that's why you look like that, and I look like this.
Exactly.
But do you know what? Do you remember the meme where she's walking with Blue Ivy and she's pregnant and she's quite like far along, and someone said, and I think there's a mirror says not another burger, like Blue says like not another burger.
Oh yeah.
And I think like when you
Wait, what?
So basically she's walking with like Blue, and I feel like she's got like her mouth kind of open, and like the meme is like Blue saying like not another burger, or like, oh, you still hungry, like making fun of like her eating. And I just feel that like when you have memes like that about people that are pregnant, why do you think Beyonce is saying, Beyonce who, let's be honest, you know, shouldn't feel that pressure because you know she's been so celebrated, she's been so lauded, and it's so kind of she acts like she's so far removed from like us on her internet. She's still saying, I'm just eating apple. Because we make memes of pregnant women. Like, we're literally making fun of her weight as a pregnant woman carrying twins. Do you know the complications? How much more complicated it is to carry twins?
And
like,
she's been honest about it.
Do you know what I mean? And also, like, one thing I hate is that when you're over 35, they call it a geriatric pregnancy. So, like, in terms of, like, because when you're, like, your prime time to get pregnant is, like, late teens to early 20s. And she's having twins, like in her late 30s. Like, do you not think like how already? And then she said that she had preeclampsia, that she had complications. She's high risk. And then we're on the internet laughing and making memes of her weight. And I feel that like when you, someone who's just a normal mum, when I see that, are you surprised that I'm kind of feeling that like I should kind of be back to like my previous size 10? Like, do you get what I mean? So I think I'll be proper honest about it. Like, I've really struggled with that, the body changes that come with being pregnant. I've really, really struggled. And I also feel that sometimes we don't say it enough. Like, it's not like I should look at my body and be like, Tobi, like, amazing. Like, you've grown a human for 9 months. You delivered safely. Like, it was hard, but you did it. But like, at the moment, I'm in a mindset where I'm looking at my body and I'm just like, yeah, you can't fit into that and you can't fit into that. And that looks, and like, there's no like positivity. And I think that I had to unfollow some people as well because I just felt that where I am for my mental well-being, it was just too toxic. Like, I just couldn't look at people and just be like, not that I'm not happy for them, but I just felt that it just wasn't like healthy for me. So like I've had to really like register like and like just slow down and just be like, if you're gonna lose weight, you're gonna lose the weight, but like just do it healthily. Like don't kind of do a crash diet. Like and just like, yeah, just take your time with it if you want to. But I think snapback culture is one of the most unhealthy things that exists in society. We should praise women who like, you know, women and people that give birth and like their bodies afterwards. And I think the problem is the mums that we do celebrate, we need to be honest and see what they look like because they look like they haven't even had a baby. Do you know what I mean? Like the women that we say, oh my God, look at this. I saw another meme. I don't know if you guys seen it. And she's like, I want to say a white woman, or I want to say like a Middle Eastern woman. And she's got a child, and then she's got a car. She's closing her car boot with her leg. And her leg is stretched out. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen that.
And people are like, this is what I need to be in motherhood. This is the mum I want to be. And I'm like,
was your mum even? Sorry, not to be rude. Our mums weren't like that, and it's not normal. And don't get me wrong, this woman is really beautiful. It's a striking image. It's a beautiful image, and she's thick thin. And I'm not. And I just think like that's what we constantly praise. We don't praise like, you know, the other mum that's kind of not that thin and is like working her way back to a body that she's comfortable with. We don't praise it enough, and I think that's just not right. It's like when Meghan Markle, was it Meghan or was it Kate, when she gave birth and she still had the pre...
It was Meghan, I think. She was on the... Yeah, and she was like on the steps or whatever with the baby, and then everyone started kind of talking about, oh my gosh,
she could be carrying Jesus, and they were criticised this one. So like,
and even for me, that was like the first time I've really seen someone give birth and then their stomach was still there. Because in society and in mainstream media, we still, even when you watch a film, when someone gives birth, the stomach is gone.
Done.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not normal.
It's not normal. That's not how the human body works. Like, it's so, it just, I think being pregnant and giving birth just showed me how much of the female body that society doesn't even understand, because they don't even understand what takes place when you're pregnant, and they don't even understand because if you did understand, you wouldn't be making stupid comments about the fact that, oh, you look like you're carrying twins, or even like Kim K, she's not my favorite person at all, but when she was pregnant that time,
that was bad.
and they were comparing her to a sofa and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, bro, like, what the heck is, like, what is wrong with you? Like, and then the next minute you'll be talking about mental health and about, we shouldn't be, women should be happy with their, but like, why should we be happy when every single day we're told and we're reminded that the natural human body is not it's not the desired body. Like, I just, like, sometimes I literally just have to, like, put down my phone. For my mental health, I had to throw out all my old clothes and say, you know what, I have to accept I'm not getting back into those clothes right now. Let me just buy clothes that fit me, the right size, and let me just keep it moving with that, and not do that thing where, like, okay, well, I'm gonna hang on to this because I'm gonna get back. Like, I had to literally dash all my clothes out and just say, accept it. This is my body now. Accept it. If I need to buy new clothes in the future, then I'll buy them then. But right now, this is what I look like. This is the body that I'm in. Let me just accept that this is where I'm at. And I think so much society just doesn't allow us to do that. We're always being told to look at this person and look at that person. And even the ads that I get sent on Instagram, these about special mummy diet and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm literally just, I literally want to be like,
targeting you lot then.
Special mummy, special, like, it's a like, have you got there's this one advert on YouTube, I swear down, I want to slap my laptop every time. Are you a Croydon female? And like this special, like, program that's specially set up for a Croydon female. I don't know what a Croydon female is.
To work out,
like, especially to target all your problem areas. Like, have you got a mum bod?
What's a Croydon female?
I don't know. Ask them, Sha.
I want to ask about you living in is it Birmingham?
Yeah.
How long you lived there for?
So I lived in Birmingham until I was 18, and literally a week after I turned 18, I moved to London.
What made you want to move to London?
So I had a lot of family. I've always had family in London. So in like Brixton and Peckham. So coming down, London was popping. Like, it was the place to be, especially like Brixton and Peckham. And like in Birmingham, it's quite diverse, but it's quite so the black culture is predominantly dominated by Jamaican culture and stuff like that. And kind of I felt not like it was, I just felt like coming to London just felt like a wider world. Like, I would see like Nigerian restaurants. I mean, go to Birmingham now and it's a lot more diversified. Like, I went there. So when my mum passed away, we went there and someone took us to a Congolese restaurant. I was like, what? Congolese restaurant in Birmingham? But it's changed now. But growing up, it was very much like white people, Asian people, and kind of even amongst kind of Caribbean people in Birmingham, there's this thing where Jamaicans just dominate everything. So even like carnival, it was just Jamaican carnival. Like, forget the Trinidadians, forget people from St. Kitts, it was just Jamaica, which was great. Like, I enjoyed it. But coming to London just felt like the world was so much bigger. I was just kind of excited by the prospect. And I think given the age that I was as well, it felt like moving to, it just felt like I left home and I just left into London. Like, it was just the thing in my mind that I wanted to do. My auntie was in London. She was studying an MA at St. Martin. So she was like very creative, and I wanted to be creative like her. Like, all the boys that I fancied were from London. Let me be real. All the boys that I fancied were from London. So it was like, yeah, London felt like the golden city at the time. But I always say that if I grew up a generation below, I probably wouldn't have left Birmingham, because Birmingham's changed a lot.
Oh, really?
It has come on so much. And I almost feel a little bit sad that I missed out on it, because I came to London so quickly after turning 18. But yeah, London felt like the golden city, and then you get here and you realise
it's not.
It's not. There's a lot of sort.
Would you move back?
Yeah.
Would I move back? You know what? I've definitely thought about moving back, especially
Would
becoming.
happy that you move back though.
He's on this thing where he says if he moves back, that he'll be living between London and Birmingham. And I'm like, you know what, that's all dead.
Oh, is your partner originally from Birmingham?
Yeah. So my partner's from London, like Peckham boy. So when I had my son, I definitely considered moving back to Birmingham just because all my friends in Birmingham had children as well. And just the quality of like they had back gardens, you get what I mean? Like they had a back garden, they had pools in their back gardens.
Pools?
Like not like swimming pools, like paddling pools. So they had like the little paddling pool in the summer. I'll go stay with my friends in Birmingham and it would just be like kids all over the house. So I definitely considered moving back. And at the time when I gave birth, my partner was actually in prison at the time, so it was kind of like, why don't I just go back and have my support system and all that kind of stuff? But it didn't happen just because long boring reasons, but it didn't happen. So I would potentially move back. Even now, like thinking about it, it's a possibility, but at the same time, ironically, now all my family's in London. So my brother moved down, my dad moved down, my mum passed away. And the rest of all of my family that's in the UK is in London at the moment. So if I was going to move back, it would essentially be for friends. Not family. But I want to spend more time in Birmingham because like so many of my childhood friends are there and they've all got bloody houses, ain't they? So so I can just they're always like, why don't
Birmingham
you come?
just jumped out? Did you
I heard it, you know, for real. I heard it.
Love to see it.
But they're always like, you know, bring the boys, come and stay, and I'm like, yeah, man, I need to go back. I want to spend more time there, definitely. But I think I'm kind of a bit Londonified now. Like, even my son corrects me on the way that I pronounce things. He's like, why do you say fast? It's actually fast. And I'm I'm like, listen.
Or actually beef? What?
I'm like, so when he, like, up until he went to nursery, he would speak like me in it because I'm the most, I guess, the most dominant kind of. And now he comes back from school and is talking like, and I'm like, I'm actually raising London. Literally, I'm raising Londoners. Like that is so
London.
It's proper. Like he's proper gonna be like Croydon. Like it's gonna be a Croydon. But I'm like, wow, I never saw this coming in my life. But
thank you so much, ladies. It's been so much fun.
Thank you.
We have to wrap up already.
I know.
Oh my gosh, it went so quick. Pardon?
Should we get into Black Excellence?
If we have time.
Actually, wait, do I? I do. Yeah. Do you guys? So we do this thing called Black Excellence.
Yeah.
If
We
you,
listen to the podcast.
Come on, we know.
Do you guys wanna? Do you have anyone you want to shout out or anything you want to shout out? Black owned.
Yeah, I'll shout out Bolanne Tajudeen, founder of Black Blossoms.
Yes.
Hey B.
Black Blossoms, B found, I call her B for sure. She founded Black Blossoms, which is a online platform and community that centers the work of Black artists. And she was doing this in 2000, I want to say 15. And she was doing it when nobody was looking. And she's truly driven to center Black artists. And also, you know, we are doing Black Motherhood and she's a Black mum raising a beautiful, beautiful Black girl. And I'm fortunate, I'm friends with B, and I just see how she really gives her all to make Black Blossoms work. And at the moment they've got an exhibition about why does Black art matter, and it's being exhibited in Hammersmith. And like
Tobi's on it.
I am part of it.
I thought you weren't going to big yourself up there.
Renier Lodge's in it, Simeon Brand's in it, I'm in it, and like
we're actually in it.
Yeah,
We got a little snippet.
And like she she does things like that, and then she manages to like put her daughter first and foremost. And I just, as I said, like when you're really doing things for the community, you were doing it before anyone thought it was like, you know, we've always been fire, but we've never always been in vogue. And like B's been doing like centering the work of Black artists before anyone even wanted to write a think piece.
Before it was for the cop. Do you know what? I think I was the first person to interview her. And And I was I remember the first thing I said to her was like, how's no one interviewed this? Like, how has Vice not done a thing on this?
Crazy.
It was the most bizarre thing. Like, she's probably one of the first people I've interviewed. Like, I can't believe I'm the first.
I remember that BuzzFeed article. It was
weird.
so good. It was so good, Vic. So yeah, I'd shout out that Black Excellence.
And she's also one of the guests on the first episode of the podcast.
Oh, amazing! Love to see it.
Nice. I think my Black excellence is I've been like fangirling over this woman for like the longest time. So if you had a nuga, the Mama Skepta, Mama Jamie, Mama Julie, Mama Jason.
Can't wait.
She is Black excellence to me because she's not obviously like a high profile person like her children, but kind of speaking to her for Black Ballads and reading her memoir, it just really set to me or impressed to me how important the home is, like how important Black mothers are, because her kids would not be her kids if they were not her kids. Do you get what I mean? If she and her husband hadn't created an environment that enabled them to flourish, we wouldn't have Skepta, Jamie, Judy, Jason.
Yeah.
So she to me is Black excellence in its like purest form, because it doesn't necessarily have the accolades, the white validation, all that kind of thing, but it has nurtured and created excellence. Like Black excellence begets Black excellence. So she's like, I'm literally just fangirling over it at the moment.
I can't wait to read it because I think all her children are obviously, they're so integral to
Black culture.
You can't say their names. You can't not say their names basically. And I wonder how that household was.
Yeah, it's her whole story is so fascinating, and it's just that it just goes back to the fact that we as people are just fascinating in like our stories of our elders. Do you get what I mean? The people who came before us, who didn't necessarily have social media to like document their lives the way that we're documenting our lives. Like, it's so important to our story as Black British people, like the people who came before. So yeah, she's my
who is mine this week? I don't really have one that
I'll do two for the both of us.
I'll say shout out to you one day because she got a collection with Shein and we love to see it. And yeah, I want to see more collections with Black influencers getting a bag. And I've also seen that Patricia Bright's doing one with Lavish Alice. And it just not annoys me, but it's like, this should have happened years ago.
Come on, they're so
Patricia
behind.
Bright, that should have happened years ago.
So behind.
But we love to see it. We love that it's happening now. Jasmine?
Mine is just things I've seen on Twitter. So sorry, I don't know the school. But a woman called Bose Omoyeni, that's her Twitter handle. I think they go to a sixth form and they decided to do a day where they just wear their natural hair.
Oh,
and I thought it was cool. Did you see it?
Brampton Manor.
Was it Brampton Manor?
It's Brampton Manor, natural
Oh
hair.
my gosh. It makes sense actually because it says BGB UK.
I think they did that to support Black Girls Brunch, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
But it was such a beautiful picture. So far from where we used to go to school. Yeah, it's Brampton Manor, I'm pretty sure.
And also there's someone called Natasha Vistas. She's doing an interior project for Black History Month. And at 56B Carnaby Street, there's going to be over 50 Black businesses showcased there. So
amazing.
Like, shout out to you. Yeah.
Love to see it. Yeah, so you guys want to plug where people can find you guys?
Yep.
Black Ballad UK, baby.
Ballad is spelled BALLAD. There's no R. Just
blackballad.co.uk, Black Ballad UK on all
we
your
can talk
socials.
about your book. I wanted to talk about it real quick.
Okay.
I think it's amazing that you're writing it. Talk to the people about what it's about and when it's coming out.
Oh my gosh. So I've written a novel. It's coming out in 2022, which is only around the corner because 2020 is finished. It's called Hope and Glory, and you can pre-order a copy from bit.ly/glory signed, and it's a signed copy. But yeah, it's just about what's it about? It's about being Black, British, Nigerian. It's about the tension between the different generations. It's about family. It's about just being young. I don't know. I'm really bad. This is terrible.
Listen,
I'm selling it really poorly.
Black Ballad is going to do it big, and I'm going to be in charge of doing it because Jenny can't plug for herself. So we're going to have a Birmingham homecoming by the grace of God.
Amen.
So all you people in Birmingham, listen, be ready.
That's it.
And then we're going to have something in London. And like, basically, I've made plans for it that Jade doesn't know about. And like, because Jenny can't plug this book, but go and order Glory. Like, go and read Jenny's newsletter, to go and buy it.
Yeah.
Like, all you people that love to say support, all you people that love reading, listen, nobody reads books like Jenny. Jenny reads books for fun. Like, I'm telling you. No, it's not a joke. Like, every day I think I say, Jenny loves reading. So, you know what? Jenny's very well read, so she'll write a good book.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hope so, definitely. Yeah.
We're very excited for it. I think that's about it. God, we should do our outro.
Yep. Catch us at Black Gals Livin on Instagram and Twitter. My handle is jazz_BW.
On Vic Sanusi on Instagram and Victoria Sanusi on Twitter. And you can give us a 5-star review on the Acast app. And also, please give us a 5-star review. And I beg, please review on the Apple Podcast app as well. So yeah, have a blessed week, lads.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.